Hello, everybody. This is Kyrix with more of This Week in Kyrix. Today is Wednesday, August 15th of 2018, and my controller is sticky and I don't like it. Yeah, one of the cats stepped on one of the PS3 controllers the other day, and I came in my room and was just kind of walking around, and I happened to notice that, hey, this thing it's flashing red because it hates everything. And sure enough, it hated everything, as you do in cases like that. Because, sometimes you just do. You hate everything. But, so I shut that off, and I'm thinking, oh, at some point I'll just recharge these things. And, so I break out my double charger, which is plugged in right now. Or at least I wasn't planning to break out the double charger. I pick up a controller, and it's got like one bar left, so I have to grab one of my other two controllers, because I have four. And they're both mild levels of sticky, and I don't know why. I think those are the ones that were left out for the roommates to use back in the day when they had a PS3, or they were using one of mine, rather. Back in the days when I had two of them. And yeah, that happened. So, yeah. Don't want to do this. But I gotta do this. So let's do this. So, I'm so proud of myself. Yesterday I stayed up all day like a big boy. I had a lot going on yesterday. Oh boy, did I ever. But before we get into that, let's jump into Monday with the recording session with Eisen, where we got, basically we were gonna do one of two things. We were gonna do a major endgame side quest thing, which was the plan, or we could resume the story for a while. I'm sorry, begin the story for a while, because you can't resume what you never started. And GM, one of the guys in the crew, was notably not able to make it for whatever reason. I think he was having just a sloggy day at work and didn't want to deal with it at the time. I don't know if he was too tired or just needed to de-stress with some World of Warcraft or what. But basically, he's like, I really want to be there for that part. Could you guys not do it without me? So we decided to do story. And we did quite a bit of story. We did like 2 or 3 whole blocks of story. Like where the sections are. We did 2 or 3 whole sections of story in our 2 recording sessions. And I basically told Eisen, okay, tomorrow we gotta do this side quest shit that I wanted to do today, because we are rapidly approaching the point where the items that we get in there are stuff we're going to want for the end game. Or leading up to the end game. And fortunately, he was able to make it to that session, which was yesterday, but I'll get to that in a minute. First, I want to outline why yesterday was so busy. Okay, normally my days are pretty simple, even on Tuesdays. I basically stay up all night, wake up, or go to bed at like 7 or 8 in the morning, wake up at maybe 2 p.m., goof around on YouTube for an hour or two, go to Pokemon, do Pokemon, come home, record with Eisen, and then probably go to sleep. And I want to point out that if denied the ability to catnap, I become immensely lethargic. It doesn't matter how much I actually slept and how long I've actually been up, my body just likes to reset the clock every now and then. And nothing I can say or do will dissuade it from that. It's just, nope, time to hit the reset button, And I just have to deal with that. So anyway, we're looking at Tuesday. Now, I had a big day Tuesday, so I had to go to bed early. I actually had an alarm to get my procrastinating ass to bed before midnight. like 5 minutes before midnight, but the point stands. And against all odds, I did so. I got to bed like 11:50 or so. And I got up at about 6 a.m. I needed to be up by 7 because I had an appointment for vocational rehab at 9. And you probably heard me say many times, better to be early than late, and that's basically how I do things. I will show up to something an hour or a half an hour early to avoid being a minute late. And that's exactly what I did. I basically sat in a waiting room for 15-20 minutes because I got there so painfully early. And I treated it a bit like a job interview, getting, prepared and such. And even taking a bus pass, which ended up being a colossal waste. I kind of wish I hadn't done that because I didn't use that bus pass for anything else that day except getting there. Like, I even rode the bike home. Which, by the way, I also took the bike. Because, why waste time walking and why risk getting sweaty walking, But yeah, I get there early, I sit and wait for a bit, we do the vocational rehab meeting. Because we're still at the stage where I'm meeting to see, one-on-one. Because the first step was orientation, where you get like 8 of us in a room, read us a prepared speech, and then hand us our appointments. And I was fortunate enough that mine was the following week, not even a full 7 days away, in fact. Because I seem to recall this taking place on a Thursday, and me getting my meeting on a Tuesday kind of thing. But, yeah, I lucked out there. And obviously there's only so much you can find out at the first stage meeting. But basically he assured me a couple times that there shouldn't be any issues with me getting a meeting. And he even said that from what he's seeing on my files and what I wrote down, I won't even have to deal with the waiting list. Because there's a waiting list if you're not at a certain stage where you need assistance, Like, for example, let's say I'm a roofer and my dominant hand got broken or something and I lost a job. Or let's just say, for example, that was something vocational rehab covered. I don't think it is, but let's say it was. That would not be as much of a high-demand case as someone who was hit by a car and became a paraplegic. Like their spine was cut in half and they're in a wheelchair for the rest of their life and they used to be a football player or something. They're going to be a lot harder to employ than a guy with one broken hand. So the guy in the wheelchair would go straight away and the guy with the broken hand would go on the waiting list. And he basically told me I shouldn't have to deal with a waiting list. And he booked me for a psych appointment, which he told me that he or the doctor would contact me to set up the appointment. So I was out of there in less than an hour, because I got there, like I said, at about 8:30 or so, and I left at like 9:52, and my appointment was at 9. So I didn't even spend a full hour in the actual meeting. Which, that's not a bad thing. I'm not saying, you didn't even spend time with me. No. That's a good thing, because that means we got shit done quick. And I'm not even 2 streets away from that place on my bike, and I get a call from the doctor basically saying, hey, I'm willing to set up that appointment now. I'm like, okay, is there any chance you could text this to me? Because I'm currently en route back home, and I have nothing to write with. So, like, let's say 4 hours later, he texted me with the results, as it were. So, yeah, basically, I'm looking at Thursday, not tomorrow, the following Thursday at 11:30, which is great because it doesn't conflict with any of my quote-unquote obligations, And so, basically, I'm gonna... This is coal. It's charcoal. Let's go with charcoal. Charcoal's easier to work with. Boop, boop. So, I don't have to worry about any of that. And I'll go in there, get my evaluation. He'll get back to my, not counselor, what is it, my case manager? Let's call him a case manager. He'll get back to my case manager with his recommendations. Case manager and I will go to the next step, recommendations and whatnot. And with luck, let's say by October, will be taking steps to get me in a job. You know, if not sooner. I'd love sooner, but let's temper this and say October. You know, mid-October. And that, by the way, is a date pulled completely out of my ass. I have no idea how vocational rehab works. But it basically, from what I understand, though, once they get me in a job, they're going to be working with me for a minimum of 90 days to help me keep said job. So, hey, that's at least 3 months of paychecks that I have to look forward to, as long as I'm not an absolute fuck-up. And I'd like to think I'm not. You know? You know, video game play to the contrary. Because we've all seen me play video games. We know I'm a fuck-up here. And this is what I'm supposed to be good at. But, so yeah, that was my 9 o'clock. Well, as you may know, I've been excited about a movie, a horror movie, that was announced like 2 or 3 months ago. I think I saw the trailer for it when I was watching Deadpool, called The Meg. And I saw this thing, I'm like, oh, I have to. I watched like the first minute of this, and I'm like, oh, I have to see this movie. I decided not even before the trailer was done. I basically watched the rest of the trailer to find out what the hell it was I was so excited about. But The Meg is the new shark movie. And it's not Jaws, so don't temper your expectations there. It's not like, oh, this is this. It's a goofy shark horror movie, and it does that very well. And I've seen people review it saying, oh, these characters are forgettable. I loved the characters. I liked most of the characters. There were like one character I felt was rather bland, but important. He was a bland in a generic second-in-command kind of way, like how sometimes the second-in-command to back up the lead is bland so they don't overshadow the lead. He was that kind of a thing. You know, he was still a good character, he just didn't draw attention. He basically served to make the main character better, which he did rather well, actually. So, so yeah, that's the thing. And it was a lot of fun. It was a fun, goofy movie. The effects were good. I mean, it's a shark movie. Here's the thing. You know me, I'm the guy who loves the bad movie, but when it comes to shark movies, I have been burned by bad shark movies. I have learned over the years to severely temper my expectations when it comes to shark movies, because so many of them are just objectively bad. You know, and this is me saying this, and I love things that other people consider objectively bad, and even I'm like, no, a lot of shark movies I can't even get through 20 minutes of, you know. I mean, I've heard good, quote-unquote, things about the Sharknado series. I think I tried to watch one of them, and I just couldn't muster the courage to sit through it, because I'm thinking, nope, this is going to burn my dick off. You know, I'm going to get burned, and it's going to go straight for my dick for some reason. But The Meg was a lot of fun. I was expecting to have fun, and I had even more fun than I expected. You know, which is really good. So that was 12 to 2, and I'm thinking earlier, I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to have this time and this time. When I get home, I'm basically going to try and nap after the meeting until the Meg. And then when I get home from the Meg, I'm going to try and nap until Pokemon. And when I get home from Pokemon, I'm going to try and nap until recording, because that's what the rest of the day was. I didn't get any of those naps. I basically got sidetracked by YouTube or something when I first got home from the meeting. And then when I got home from the Meg, I spent the whole time on TV Tropes looking up the Meg. And then Pokemon happened, and I did Pokemon. I'll get into that in a couple minutes. And then I came home, and it was just prep for recording with Eisen and them. Like, I had to basically chart our course. I confirmed some stuff with them. I fed myself. I did a couple other side chores, and then boom. So, Pokemon. I'm not going to get into the specifics of why, just in case one of the Pokemon League people finds my channel and figures this out. But I've instituted a new thing where when someone wins a tournament, I ask them to name a Pokemon. And I give no hints as to what this could be about. And I'm not going to hear either. Other than it'll be important later. But the Pokemon chosen this week was Electros, which is kind of cool. It's an obscure Pokemon that not a lot of people do. You know, not a lot of people think of Electros, and it's a really interesting Pokemon because it's one of the few Pokemon with no weaknesses. And I'm not talking no weaknesses in the way that, like, oh, Sableye had no weaknesses before Fairy type. No, this has objectively no weaknesses because it's an electric type, a pure electric type. And the only thing that hurts electric types are ground types. Well, it has Levitate, which protects it from ground types. The only way to nail this thing is with a Zygarde. That's one Pokemon with one move, 1,000 arrows, that'll bring this thing on the ground and let you hit it with ground-type moves. So, and of course Mold Breaker. If you use like Haxorus with Earthquake, Mold Breaker will kill it. But we're talking like straight-up normal moves without some kind of workaround, you know? Like Diglett's not going to Earthquake this thing to death. Marowak's not going to Bone Meringue it. And that's stupid. Bone Meringue should hit flyers. Because you're throwing a bone, you know? I mean, yeah, Bone Club I could see, but Bone Meringue is thrown. That's a ranged attack. So anyway, I actually lost this tournament, but that's only for two reasons. One, only 2 of us showed up to play the tournament. Now, there were other players, and I got plenty of wins that day. You know, for as many people as were there. I beat everyone I played against at least once, but I also lost 2 matches. Neither in a card game. Both were in actual Pokemon. But what happened was the girl I was facing was using legendaries, like almost exclusively. I think she had 1, maybe 2 non-legendaries in her team, whereas I had a legendary and a Ultra Beast. So I was playing the thing mostly straight. It was all dragon types. And the problem is, most of the legendaries that are really powerful are dragon types. So there are a lot of dragon type legendaries to choose from. This isn't like, say, if you did fire types and there's only like 3 fire type legendaries. There's more than that, but I mean you got Ho-Oh, you got Moltres, you got Heatran, you got Victini, you've got Reshiram, and I think that's about it, really, as far as fire types go. And yes, I'm lumping mythicals with legendaries. Bite me. But yeah, that's not as much of a choice as to say dragon, where it's like, oh, you've got Rayquaza, you've got Dialga, Palkia, Kyurem, you've got Giratina, you've got Reshiram, Zekrom, you've got fucking Zygarde. You've got, as far as Ultra Beasts, you've got Poipole, Naganadel, and Guzzlord. You know, you've got a lot of dragons to choose from. I guess if you choose Ultra Beasts as well for fire, you've also got Blacephalon, but that's a new one and it's weird, and not a lot of people are ready for that one yet. But yeah, Electros was the one we chose, or not we, the one the winner chose. So that was interesting. And we will see what fruit this bears later. So yeah, the thing with Eisen and them, we also have Mobius. He was in the chat with us yesterday, which they were fine with. It was a bit distracting for me. Like, I wasn't going to yell at the guy and tell him to get off the chat, but it threw off the chat a bit because he had, and Eisen apparently reduced his volume on his end, which was the important end because that's where the recording was happening, around the second video. But the problem was his little brother was in the room playing Stick of Truth, the South Park RPG. So every now and then, this got really bad in the second video when you supposedly couldn't hear them. I don't know. I haven't heard the audio. But you will hear me say the most out-of-context shit because I'm talking to Mobius or his little brother about South Park. Like, I'll mention something like, well, yeah, you gotta make sure he shits in all the toilets and collects it, or something like that. Or make sure he gets the shit after he leaves it, you know? Something like that. And it's just, if you're expecting Baldur's Gate and you don't, if you for whatever reason missed the video before and don't realize there's a South Park game going on in the background, or you don't realize that those two videos were recorded in the same night and forgot that part, it'll be really goddamn jarring to hear me out of nowhere just talk about this vulgar South Park shit. Which isn't to say I'm not vulgar normally, but this is completely out of context unless you know what I'm saying, you know? Because if you don't know that I'm referring to South Park, it comes completely out of left field. But Mobius was only... not Mobius, GM was only able to make one of the two sessions that night. Which is fine, not everyone can make every session. There's reasons for that shit. Oh, this is what I want. Oh yeah, this is also what I want. Okay, now for the tricky part. Getting up there. Did I get rid of all of the gravel? I may have. Let's find out. That's not gravel, but it is sand. And that'll come in handy. So yeah. Again, it's just weird out of context shit. And GM had to crash, and I told him, well, do you want us to stop recording, or do you want us to get this second episode knocked out? And he's like, well, I really want to be here for this. I'm like, dude, trust me when I say there is absolutely no chance that we will finish this area tonight. You know, I'm like, we could literally spend another 6 sessions down here and still not beat it. And basically what happened was he left and we spent the entire episode in one fight, more or less. So yeah, I kept my promise on that end. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then we just kind of go from there, I guess. Alrighty, there's that. Cool. So yeah, that was my Tuesday. And miraculously, I made it through there without napping. I didn't need any kind of recharge. I had a big dinner and everything. It's great. That being said, when I finally did go to sleep, I crashed hard. But hey, that's excusable, all things considered. So yeah, I got my new phone today. It's still giving me somewhat troubles. I don't know how much of that is my room, how much of it is the phone sucking, and how much of it is me not properly fucking with the settings enough. I don't know. Nope, not there. Get some dirt down here. We'll deal with the specific logistics of that later. But yeah, now I remember why I wanted it this way in the first place, which was to protect the stuff that I'm trying to grow down there. Because I'm like, okay, why did I want this thing to be the same, to be glass? Well, I knew why I wanted it to be the same color, but why did I want it to be glass? Oh yeah, so shit will grow through it. Which is a fantastic reason, really, when you get right down to it. But yeah, so next Monday and next Tuesday are going to be really big deals on the recording with Eisen and friends, because we got a lot of shit to do. In the meanwhile, I am working on one of the games that follows this game, which, by this point, I've pretty much decided that as long as I can talk them into it, it'll be the next game on the list, and then the game that follows that. And I'm trying to talk Mobius into jumping in on that one, basically saying, hey, it's a bit late for you to jump in now. I mean, we could add him. There are ways to do it. But it works better for the interquel, as it were. Like, if he jumps in there, it's a more natural starting point for him, and we can fit him in without too much of a headache, you know? I mean, he'll be a little bit behind us, but not insurmountably so. So that's a start. I think they're here. I was wrong. Nope, they must be on this. Yes. 30 should be enough. Yo. I forgot how to get there. Oh well, that's my problem, isn't it? Yes, it is. You know what? Let's deal with this now. Shit. I mean, that still works, but wow, shit. Okay, cool. Yeah, I know this is the thing I was trying to do once upon a time, but... Wait, I don't need this anymore. Actually, yes, I do. This is something else. Never mind. Now here's the question, do I have enough glass to make this work? The answer is almost certainly going to be no, but we'll see. No, I'm not going to have enough. Not the way I want to do it, anyway. Oh well, we'll do something. Christ, I can't even see. Alright, do I have any lapis left? Any at all? Hopefully the answer is yes. Unfortunately, the answer is no. Hmm. Hmm. Surely I have something in here that could be colorful. Besides yellow. I could do red. Derp, 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 derp. Let's get some red ones. It'll at least be better than the white. It'll be dumb, but it'll be better. The good kind of better. The dumb kind. Actually, what are these? These are what, purple? You know, after taxes, as it were? That should probably be enough for what I have to do. Yep. Fuck it, it just won't match, that's all. Really? A full 64? Okay, I guess we're doing a full 64 then. Yeah, I've been listening to Runaway, which is the song that the Epic Sax guy is from. You know, all things considered, that's not a bad color patch. I mean, it's not exactly the blue, but it's entirely possible that I'll never notice. I'm not exactly known for my attention to detail, after all. Uh-oh. Shit. Okay, good. I'm about to say, now I can't find the way in. Okay. Now we play with sand. Oops, that was also wrong. It was wrong on every conceivable level, in fact. Wow, almost as wrong as that fucking was. Okay, how about this? Okay, now I can see the color change. Only because I'm fucking standing in it. From the surface, I ain't seeing shit. Oh dear. Oh, that's a misjudge, isn't it? Okay, we're apparently not done yet. Do 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 do. Fuck me. I don't know how to Minecraft. Okay, that ought to settle it. God, this is so weird that I can look down and not see a goddamn thing. I also was looking at my stopwatch. I'm like, only 20 minutes in? No, Kyrix, no. You forgot to set the thing properly. Alrighty, perfect. Whew. Perfect. One short. That's okay. That's one set of 3, not that I'm actually one ladder short. I'm in fact many ladders short. Shit. How do do. I have committed an error. A grievous error. An error most foul. Oh dear. Okay. Let us do this then. I'll figure out the logistics of this bullshit later. Part of me seriously wants to flop this thing over to creative and just, you know, be done with the damn thing. Or at least start the whole thing over again, you know what I mean? Oops. There we go. Perfect. And this one we consign to the briny depths. Blurp. No one cares. Okay, so that's cool. Now I get to do this. Except I get to do it correctly. Oh dear. That's not insurmountable. You'll see. I can do this. Indeed I can. Not like that, you fool. Yep, this is asymmetrical and derpy, and I don't like it at all. This must be the one with the broken, not triggers, but... Oh, shit! Mer. There we go. Yeah, I don't like the asymmetrical mess this place has become. I really don't. God, it's so weird now that I don't have that anymore. Yeah, look up there. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to end this. And off screen, I'm going to make a thing in creative. And starting next week, we'll be playing there. So bye-bye, everybody.